I think sticky tabs are overrated. Okay, I'm sorry. I love annotating, okay? I think if you've been on this channel for any amount of time, you know I love scribbling in my books. I love the way they look when they have annotations in them. I even love tabbing occasionally. I have a passion for writing LOL on every other page of the books I'm reading. I am an annotating fiend, if you will. But I think annotating has, well, to me, annotating has a purpose, right? And I don't think that sticky tabs, as cute as they are, fulfill that purpose. And that is what I want to talk about today, because I think that the aesthetification of really everything, but annotating in this case specifically, has led to a lot of people maybe avoiding the practice or thinking they dislike the practice because the way that it is shared online in order to appeal aesthetically to people and like function in the visual media format that is social media has led to people maybe losing sight of what is important when it comes to annotating. When you ask yourself the question, what should annotating really be about? Personally, I come to the conclusion annotating should enhance my reading experience. Now, this may differ if you're in school or annotating maybe with like a certain person in mind that the annotations are kind of to or for. But for me personally, 99% of the time I'm annotating a book, I somehow want to make my reading experience of that book better. And I think annotating is a great way to do that because it makes you more present. It helps you stay in conversation with what you're reading. I think I'm really funny. And occasionally I do write something funny and then I chuckle at myself, okay? I think it's a great way to stay present with the text and like help with focus. And I do notice that when I annotated a book, I tend to remember the content of it a lot better than if I just read it without leaving any notes on it. Also, personally, I enjoy using my annotations kind of as a time capsule. I never look at my annotations. Once I've written them, they're in the past, okay? That's nobody's business. And I think that's quite interesting. I think a lot of people refer back to their annotations and that's why they do it. Maybe I'll do a separate video on why I don't look at my annotations at a later point. But for me, it is really about like putting who I am, what I'm thinking, what I'm passionate about in that specific moment into the text. And then the moment that I read that book is kind of captured within the pages of the novel. And I think that's such a beautiful way to remember yourself by. Few things are as beautiful as like having an annotated copy of a book that, I don't know, your best friend, your parent, your sibling, someone who's really important to you, that they loved and annotated. And like you get to see your parent at like 21 years old reading Lord of the Rings for the first time. You know, I think it's such a beautiful and magical experience to have something like that. And that is kind of what I aim to leave in the pages. It's not necessarily for me. And honestly, most people that like could eventually get these books probably don't care about it either. But I think there's something beautiful about being allowed to remain in the book, even if I change after that version of myself has been captured. And that kind of leads me to sticky tabs can't do that. I think sticky tabs definitely have their use and place, and I, as I said, do occasionally use them, but they are a reference tool. Sticky tabs are only really useful if you A, tend to actually look back on your annotations, which as I said, I don't really do, or B, if you have like some sort of mission when reading the book. For example, if you are writing a paper on a certain book, or if you're conducting research for something else, or you're just like, I use it on cookbooks a lot, you know, if you're looking back on certain recipes. It's a great reference tool. And if that is something you're looking to do in your annotating, 100% go for it. I think that is what sticky tabs are good at, but I think it's really the only thing they're good at, aside from maybe looking very cute, you know, which is fine. But I don't think that for the average reader, for the average annotator like myself, that is necessary. The other reason why I think that sticky tabs just don't really fulfill my purpose of annotating is because it is something I do for future me. As I just said, annotating for me is about enhancing my reading experience, and so by annotating it, I make myself more present. I kind of capture who I am in the moment and my thoughts and feelings of the moment. I don't really think it's not for future me what I'm doing. What I'm doing is for present me to have a good time with what I'm reading. Whereas sticky tabs, they're almost exclusively useful for future you. And in fact, I kind of think they make things a lot worse for present me who's currently reading. Because I think annotating is a little bit annoying when you use sticky tabs. I have talked about this in the past. I do have a video on how I annotate. I'm gonna leave it linked down below. It's very old. I'm not particularly proud of it, but honestly, everything I say in that video still is tea. I am so right. And I have thought about remaking that video, but I'm just like, I don't know, 19-year-old baby me had it pretty much figured out. Anyways, I talk about it in my original annotating video. Annotating, especially with color-coded sticky tabs, like multiple colors, so tedious. It's not very fun. It is very annoying. If you're like in the text and you're like,
haha, that's funny. You then have to go, oh, is it funny enough that I want to look at it again in the future? Yeah, maybe. Okay, which color tab was funny again? Oh, right, it was orange. Let me just grab an orange tab and then I'm going to like make sure I put it in the book, but I want to put it in the correct spot, like with the corresponding passage. And then I want to make sure it's not sticking out too far or like too little. So I'm going to like line it up. Ooh, that's not perfectly. Ooh, that's a little bit crooked. Let me apply that.
It's a hassle. It's a hassle and a half to annotate with sticky tabs. And I personally don't think it's fun. I think it looks so fun. I wish I was a passionate annotator because I think it looks so good. But the hassle, man, the hassle, it's so annoying. It takes me out of the story. I take like 10 times as long if I'm annotating with sticky tabs. It's so slow. It's so annoying. Again, I never look back at it. And I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the labor like 90% of the time. Even when I do it, I have, again, some books that have sticky tabs and a lot of them. I'm like, looking back, I'm like, man, that's so cute. I love how it looks. Was that worth the hassle? I don't know. There are occasionally passages that stick out to me so much that I feel compelled to put a sticky tab. That is generally how I annotate. I will only write something down if I actually feel compelled to do it. But with sticky tabs, that compulsion just, I feel that a lot less, you know? Occasionally it happens and then I will put a tab. So I have a couple of books on here that have like 2 tabs. Because they were just 2 passages that like needed it. But most books, most passages, they do not need it. Okay, I'm sorry. One thing that grinds my gears to no end is I watch a lot of annotating videos on YouTube. Okay, it is kind of my favorite genre of booktube video, to be honest. I love watching them. I think they're so fun. Again, I love looking at annotations. I'm so nosy. It's so fun. So many people will go ahead and be like, oh, just buy a pack of like sticky tabs and you can just like, you don't have to write in your book and like just tab. Don't. I'm telling you right now, don't. It is not worth it. You are never going to look at that again. You won't, okay? And I'm a rereader. I am a rereader and yet I still never look back on that stuff. Don't do the whole, no, don't write in your books. Don't be scared. Just put some stickers. Don't. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be frustrating. You're never going to look back on it. You're probably going to hate how you do it in the first book because like you're going to update your system as you go. It's not worth it. Do not start that way. In my opinion, annotating with tabs is like high level, like hard mode annotating. If you want to start simple annotations, grab a book and grab a pencil. That is what you need to actually get started with annotating. And I am so sick and tired of the internet claiming anything else. You want to sit with your book and with your thoughts, and you want to somehow put the two together in your annotating. That is what I think is the best way to get started as a beginner, because that is the only way to learn how to filter out what you actually want to annotate and what you don't. That is the only way of learning which thoughts of yours are actually worth putting on the page. That is the only thing that's going to, like, long-term have any impact on the book. If you write in a book, your book will forever carry your story and part of yourself in it. And I know people talk about resale value, and honestly, if you're someone who regularly resells books, that is definitely a different story. But just like, if you want to get into annotating, get like a $2, euro, pound, whatever used mass market paperback of a book you think you really like, and just go ham on it. And if you can't resell that, you're gonna live, okay? Recycle it. Use it for crafting if you really hate the book. The thing the skill you need to hone in on is your thoughts, how they apply to the book, and which of them are worth capturing in your book. And you're not gonna do that with sticky tabs. And especially in the beginning, if you start by color coordinated sticky tabs, don't even get me started. Do not even get me started. If you want to get started actually on sticky tabs, I would recommend either just using like one color for everything, or use multiple colors and don't coordinate them. Just like put whatever you think is going to look good, just to like get a feel for how many scenes per book you actually think you're gonna need to be able to reflect, to also not waste so many sticky tabs of the same color. You are most likely going to evolve in your system no matter how you annotate. And if you start out by tabbing like 5-10 different categories, most likely a couple of them are going to change or phase out over time. And it's just not worth investing a bunch of like money and time into tabbing like that. If it's an evolving system and it's too much work to do it that way if you know it's going to change. Okay. That's it for my hot take. If you love annotating with sticky tabs, I am so happy for you. I think you're so cool. I think your books look awesome, but I think you probably are funny and intelligent and deserve to write your thoughts down too. How do you annotate? Do you use sticky tabs? Are you a pen and paper truther like me? Personally, I started with pencil, evolved to pen, and then started throwing sticky tabs in there occasionally. Occasionally, okay? Rarely. How do you guys feel about sticky tabs? Do you think they're annoying and tedious like I do? Or are you a passionate defender? Let me know. Again, I'm gonna leave my annotating video link down below. It is a little cringe, okay? I'm a bit of a baby in there. I hope you all have a great day. Watch my other videos. I will see you all next week.